Come on, give me the light. Give me the. Hey, all right. So we're
live. Yeah.
Welcome to, what are we calling this? One Last Drag, which is the content between audiobooks while I'm getting the second one together, where I'm talking to the voice actors from the first novel, Smokepit Fairytales audiobook production. That sentence could have been a lot smoother.
Book one in the Smokepit Fairytale series audiobook just finished up. First of all, I have to say, I had a fucking blast doing that for you.
Oh,
I know.
By the way, people, this is Matt Kupcikevicius. Fucking, he played Cantut and Rainer and Kyle and about 5 or 8 other like one-liner characters. He's my fill guy.
Yeah, I am, as you see below my name, I am his voiceover utility knife. I am basically his Swiss Army knife.
Yeah. Professional shit poster.
No. It is not professional shit poster. It is just
amateur shit poster. The amateur shit poster sounds so much worse.
Hobby shit poster.
You're not even good at shit posting. Come on, man. Quit being an amateur.
Hobby shit poster.
Yeah.
Because on the side, I've also got a few of the military meme pages that I have made some memes for, especially because I had a meme posted up on Angry Cop's Angry Meme Review from his homework, which,
nice.
Dude, all of them were like, "You motherfucker."
Yeah, that guy's got a funny thing. But you played a few of the characters. I'm gonna have you back on for the second one at some point. I've got about half of the voice work in for the second one. And like right now, I have all the scripts out, but if the first book was any indication on how this is going to go, I'm not going to get most of those back. So,
where with me, where with me, basically, Trip would be like, "Hey, I need this chapter, these characters," and I'd have it to him literally within like 2 hours.
Yeah, and I need this by Friday. Dick.
and then he's like, "Hey, I need this by Friday," and then I'm like, "All right," and then literally like 2-3 hours later, he's got an email from me with the fucking file of the done lines
in there for that. No, before the show we were talking about some shit I wrote down, and I fucking just historical shit that will tie into this. We're not going to give you too many spoilers for stuff that happens after the first book, because I know a lot of you are listening to the audiobook, so no heavy story spoilers, just maybe a thing that happened and we'll pull it out of context. You know what I mean?
So and going into that, for the folks who are going through to listen to the audiobook, I do understand that some of you don't have the time to actually sit down and read the book, but please, I know you could listen to it for free on Spotify, but honestly, Tripp is such an amazing author. He's such an amazing guy. He's an amazing artist in general. And I'm one of those guys where I do put my money where my mouth is when I'm able to on supporting my fellow veterans, supporting small businesses and everything like that. And honestly, Tripp does not get enough credit by the masses for the masterpiece that he is making. Granted, it pisses me off to no end when I read certain parts of the fucking story, even though I've read through it and I'm just like, fucker. But then again, that just goes to show how good of a fucking author he is. And he brings out emotions out of the reader in a way that I've not had with any other story series that I've ever read.
Okay, so A, I appreciate that. B, the show is not Suck Tripp's Dick Hour. So thank you. But I'm gonna need you to stop working the shaft, all right?
Hey, you gotta remember, I was Navy. I'm a pro at that one, okay?
Yeah. Anyway, there's something that happens in one of the later books, and it involves a German machine gun. And that kind of came up because it came up to where, I was going to put it in the story because I thought something was really funny about it. I was watching this documentary, and it started off with that gun, and then it moved into the G3, right? You know what the G3 is. If you don't know what the G3 is at home, it's a fucking battle rifle. Imagine whatever your granddad, I don't know how old you people are.
It would be like the M14, technically, because the M14 was technically a battle rifle, or the
FNFAL somewhere.
Yeah, FNFAL, or going with the the M1 Garand.
Yeah, anyway, friggin', Belgium makes these things, and, they're a good advanced rifle for the time, and the West German army is like, hey, these are really cool guns. Can we buy some from you? And Belgium's like, yeah, sure, X amount of money, here's your stuff. And West Germany's using them for a while, and they're like, hey, these are really good guns. We don't want to like keep paying you for them. Can we get the licensing to just make these over here? And the Belgians are like, dude, it is 1953. Are you seriously asking if we're going to let you like have the plans to build more guns? Fuck you.
Yourself.
They're twice as much now.
Where, they probably, what they should have just done is did the American way and just reverse engineered the shit.
Yeah. Or the Soviet way, or, XY, whatever. But also, speaking of German guns and writing, one of the things that like I love seeing this, but I also fucking hate it, is when you're reading a book and the author has no idea what the fuck they're talking about, and to show that they're serious, they pull the hammer back on their Glock.
Yeah.
Which for people at home, they don't have hammers.
Yeah, no, Glock. Okay, for those of you who are fans of the series and listening in that are not, firearms enthusiasts like Tripp and myself, Glocks are fucking striker fired. They're not a hammer. This is a fucking hammer.
For those of you listening at home, he just brandished a single action army.
Yes, and then also I'm holding up my CZP09. This, and I'm pointing at the hammer. This is a fucking hammer.
Yeah, the thing you pull back is the hammer.
Yeah, the thing.
A lot of guns don't have those, so that's one of those things where if you're looking to write something and you don't know what you're talking about, like Google is your friend, man. And if Google can't be your friend because you can't get Google to answer the right question, which I get that. There's a lot of things that like I'll know is say I'm looking up, what color is the sky, right? I know the answer to this. Google will tell me it's blue. And it's like, well, it's not blue at night. Like, what color is the actual friggin' sky? Some things you just can't Google like that easily. So what you would do or should do is just find a documentary series or somebody that's an enthusiast about it, like on YouTube or something, and just like absorb their material. You'll eventually get it in. And then if you don't know something, it's okay to just like omit it from the fucking story. Like, you don't have to say that a character, flipped off the safety, especially if you don't know if that gun has a fucking safety on it.
Exactly. Or like whenever they're talking about when they're like reloading and everything like that, and they say, yeah, and they threw in another clip. I'm like, it's a fucking semi-automatic pistol. It's a fucking magazine. Like whenever I'm reading through that and I see that in a book, my brain.
That kind of depends though, because the C96 has a clip.
Yeah, but here's the thing: it feeds in through the top, and the clip comes out.
Yeah, like, but they don't know that.
Yeah, I think there's only one gun, maybe two, that technically, when you put the clip into it, it stays with the gun, and it's the fucking M1 Garand. I might be wrong.
I don't know about that, because I got a bunch of bolt action rifles, and you can clip load them, but the clip always comes out.
Yeah, it comes out.
Yeah,
before you load the next round in. That's what I'm saying. I think the only system that when you load a clip into it, that it actually stays in until you have to put another one in because you've ran out of ammo is the M1 Garand. Like I said, I might be wrong, but
yeah, and that's where you get the mythical ping.
Uh-huh.
Which I love that story. I call bullshit on it, but I love that story about how guys in World War II in Korea, they'd have extra, Garand clips. And then instead of doing whatever, they'd throw the clip on the ground to make that ping noise so that, the enemy would think they're out of ammo and, charge in. But in reality, everyone's shooting guns. It's super loud. You're not going to be able to hear just a ping. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So just so those of you know, my wife has handed me my handsome 5-month-old because she has to go do something real quick. So if you hear me cry out in pain, it's because he is trying to rip my beard out.
Well, I mean, that's what they're there for, right? Just, you got to keep it short, or put it in a braid so that, like, if he grabs it, it's the whole thing instead of just like the 5 hairs he's got.
And, he doesn't have the 5 hairs; he has a handful.
Yeah, which is why you got to put it in a braid so he can only grab a handful. Like an actual handful that's anchored completely to the rest of your face.
Yeah, okay, fair. But this is also the longest I've had my beard in like 3 years.
Yeah, beards get weird. I try to keep mine short, mostly because I hate shaving. If I didn't hate shaving, I'd probably just have the mustache. But like I grew my hair down to, or my beard down to my tits one time, and it was neat. And then it was like, all right, I got to cut this off. I'm done. I can't do this. I'm not ZZ topping this.
Oh no, like I've already told my wife, like so those of you who aren't watching, I have like the like if you saw my beard, if I did
He's
not
got
have
the
a
Joe Dirt
mustache,
going on.
no, I would
Yeah.
say it's closer to Luke Combs' beard because it's just like bare like right in here.
Don't
but
try to
the finish
church it up, Dirt.
but no, eventually I am trying to grow my beard out to the Viking ones so I can like do the braids and have the beard rings and shit in it.
Yeah. Also, apparently, and this is coming from the comments from Chili Llama. Apparently, the Manicler M95, I think, is what we're referring to.
Yeah.
Also has a internal clip that it uses instead of a magazine.
Yeah, for some reason mine was still set to private chat, so I wasn't seeing the other comments. So
my bad. You and me.
It's for the dick pics. Let's be honest.
Well, normally I use that over there for like, hey, listen, fucking, we're gonna go on till whatever. If you got to go squeeze the cat or fucking, milk the oysters or whatever, tell me you got to go in the fucking private chat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jason, very nice. That's fucking awesome. Yeah. No, I like the past few times, like I've only got my beard out to about this long, and then I've fucking shaved it off because of the heat or anything like that. Like this is also the longest I've had my hair in fucking years.
Yeah, but yeah. Although
Anyway.
that is another thing that gets brought up in the books a lot, where like fucking Hank gets fucking is like, all right, I'm out. I gotta go shave this fucking beard off.
Yeah,
because I think that's something that a lot of people ignore when writing, especially in like westerns or fantasies or whatever. Because if you're writing something in modern context, it's implied that they shaved that morning, But like if it's something where they're just outside for months at a time, it's like, dude, your hair and your beard's gonna grow, man.
Yeah, unless you're pulling a Richard B. Riddick and fucking taking a big ass blade and just running it across your skin with grease on your face and head.
Yeah, or just using a pumice stone and. What, you don't like that? Well, you could go to the Middle East and use a hummus stone.
God damn it! But where the fuck is Space Gator?
Fucking dude, I've got so many of those goddamn things, man. Like I haven't had this fucking alligator in these goddamn videos in a hot minute. Like not habitually in at least 4 years. I still buy them every time I see them though. I would put money on it that I have 75 of these fucking things around the house.
Is there one in your fucking desk? Because I have been Trip can confirm this. I have been nagging him about once every couple of weeks or months. There he is. And
they're little like dollar squishy friggin' toy alligators. But I would have him up there and he'd be kind of like Insult the Comedy Dog, except for like since he was an alligator, I made him Creole.
Yeah. That Creole that for some reason can understand French incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's the part. That's part of mistranslating stuff. Like there's so no spoilers or anything for those of you who haven't read it, but in the I think it's the 4th book. I got a buddy who's a Russian linguist, and I got him to help me with a couple of lines where they're in this place and they see this sign, and if I remember right, in Russian, it's a homonym, I think is what I'm trying to say, where, they sound the same, but they're spelled and mean different things. But one of the translations, like if you just heard it, it could mean either stay off the Sergeant Major's grass or like the gangbangs that way.
Nice.
Or something to that effect.
So it would have to be written down for them to be able to know which one it is.
Unless you're bad at the language, which these guys weren't good at the language. So
fair.
It'd be kind of like if you didn't speak English and you read, I don't know, the airport is to the left, and you're like, what does oxygen have to do with where the ships are coming and why are they voting Democrat? You know what I mean?
Fair.
Like that kind of mistranslation.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no. So getting into the audiobook, I forgot, it was like myself and quite a few others had been like pestering you to do an audiobook, and then we were all basically, I remember it was back in 2020 whenever you had like fucking 6 of us on your podcast whenever you were doing that.
Show,
yeah, and basically we were like, listen, dude, we'll straight up have a Mortal Kombat to see who gets to be the one to voice for your audiobook. And then you're like, no, as much as I would love to witness that.
Fast forward a few years, and guess what, bitch? There's a draft. Here's your letter. You got 2 options. You're on this book, or you move to fucking Canada.
Yeah. And then also for those of you listening in and watching, I am doing this out of my love for the series. Also, I kind of stronger up tripped into giving me early access to the last 3 books, so go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, joke's on you. I made a character after you and killed him after 2 fucking paragraphs.
Oh yeah. I know. I 1,000% expected that to happen.
Yeah, no, and for those of you that have read the books and are waiting on it, I'm doing the first rewrite of the last book right now. So after that's done, which hopefully will be in about a week or 2, I'll start sending it out to my beta readers, and then while they're out there, while the books are out there with them, I'll start doing the artwork and making all the music and all that shit. So I'm not promising you by the end of the year, but I am shooting for January right now for the masses.
Yeah, because I remember initially when you were talking about releasing books 7, 8, and 9, you're saying you were going to release 7, give it a month, then 8, give it a month, then 9.
Yeah,
and then you went ahead, but then you went ahead and pulled a fast one and went 7, a week later, 8, 9.
Yeah, well, I lied. Deal with it.
Yeah, no, it was hilarious because I had just gotten book 7 in, and I was super excited. I was just getting ready. I was like already burning through it and everything like that, and all of a sudden I'm like, bro, what the fuck? And all of a sudden he goes, oh yeah, hey, by the way, guess what? He sent me the link, and it was the link for 7 for 8 and 9. I was like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, and apparently what you're supposed to do with that is stagger them a month out to like ride the fucking Amazon algorithm, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know that works. Everyone else says it does, but I have completely failed to apply anyone else's writing advice accurately, as far as marketing is concerned. Like, so I don't like only advertise my books in one place. You know, I try to spread it out as much as possible. And I'm doing well enough for myself now to where, like, if I go look at my thing and I don't have, and like my sales for the day is 0, it's like, okay, something's fucking wrong. What's going on? You know? But I have noticed this thing that if I have any ad fucking anywhere, whether it be Facebook, you know, Instagram, TikTok, in a fucking newspaper, as long as that ad is up, my sales will fucking flatline. And it's like, well, hold on. You guys on Facebook can't all be pissed off at me and like, you know, rage boycotting because you saw a fucking ad because it's in other places too. What the fuck? And I can't figure out what the fucking correlation or causation is. Oh, I'm sorry. I know the correlations. Can't figure out the fucking causation.
I think the causation is basically Amazon just probably saying, go fuck yourself.
Well, no, because like there wouldn't be an ad on Amazon. It would be from somewhere else sending it to Amazon.
You get what I'm saying, though.
I mean, could be. I don't fucking know.
It's probably Bezos just trying to keep the little guy down.
They keep saying that like Twitter and Facebook and Amazon are different entities. I don't know if I buy that.
Oh yeah, no, I guarantee, like, you know for a fact that fucking, even though they're Musk and fucking Zuckerberg are supposed to be fighting in a cage fight, I guarantee you that Musk, Zuckerberg, and Bezos are all like fucking buddies, because you know for a fact that fucking even though Bezos is trying to outdo fucking Musk with the space shit that he's doing with the Amazon stuff, I guarantee you that Bezos has one of the first tickets on Musk's fucking first flight to Mars.
Well, the thing is about that though is like maybe on the bigger level, like with them personally, I'm sure there's some type of fucking dick measuring contest. As far as the let's do this to keep more like our level people fucking as customers, there is no way that there's not a significant fucking overlap in their fucking R&D departments.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that's why whenever I'm able to do what I want to do eventually, I'm not going to be going through Amazon per se, and I'm actually going to be doing a lot of basically working with the bases nearby with what I'm wanting to do, as well as both where I'm wanting to set up. I'll have like several bases I can reach out to through the MWR and everything like that to basically get customers coming in from base, as well as at the VFWs and whatnot.
Yeah, you still need somebody to print that.
Yeah, I mean it's.
And if you want them to get it anywhere, I'm sorry, man. There is a fucking monopoly on that right now.
Yeah, fuck. I'm just gonna go to the radios nearby.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna be up on the corner of 3rd and Sunset. I'll have a booth. Bring cash.
Bring cash. I have the condoms myself. Don't worry about it.
Dude, no, and it was weird. So I would pick up like self-published books like that, like back in the day, like back before like that was a thing, like back when self-published was like a dirty word that like this guy only sells his books at flea markets and shit, right? And I'd read them because hey, a book's a book. But especially when I was in fucking Camp Pendleton, I'd find books and I'd read through them, and it was some dude's like memoirs from like Vietnam or something. And I'd be like, all right, cool. So this is this guy's story about Vietnam. Wonder why it's not getting anywhere. Or why he's just self-publishing it. I'm gonna get 2 chapters into it. Oh, you did a thing. Yep, that's exactly why your soldiers and Marines are getting killed, because you're a fucking idiot. Next page. Yep. Nope. You are exactly the reason all these guys get killed. Jesus Christ, dude. Why are you admitting to this shit? Then again,
how the hell did he not get a grenade surprise wake up call?
Yeah, I mean that and like fucking over the last 20 years, military memoirs haven't been that much better in general. Like. Actually, I'm not going to limit this to the last 20 years. I think not ever.
Well,
since World War II, I'm going to say since World War II.
Well, you also got to remember, since World War II, the majority of the fucking memoirs that have been coming out from the fucking Special Forces guy. Here's a conspiracy theory that I have. The fact of the matter is that every single one of those military memoirs has to get approved by the DoD before it's released, and the fact that majority of them are the Spec Ops guys. Yeah. It is 1,000% a means for recruiting. That's
well, that and fucking a little bit of, I don't want to say money laundering, but like cashing in on fame, because one of the things I was going to get to is, besides like 1 or 2 guys, all those books have been ghostwritten by someone else and they get their faces put on it. So like, say, I forget who wrote fucking Chris Kyle's fucking American Sniper, but he did not fucking put his finger down for 1 key on the fucking keyboard writing that book. He sat down and like just kind of brain vomited at somebody else, and they took that and made a story out of it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, fucking Marcus Luttrell even said the same thing. He said that in an interview. He's like, yeah, it's somebody, like, it was legitimately somebody from the Department of the Navy.
Yeah.
That wrote it for him. They brought it to fucking Spec Ops, fucking whatever command bullshit that they have to go through. Got it basically cleared. They took out shit that he wasn't supposed to talk about.
Yeah.
And then it went back, and then it got cleared. And then the same thing happened with the fucking Lone Survivor movie. It was the same exact fucking thing. They had to clear what they could and could not show.
Yeah.
For that movie. And I think also the same thing with American Sniper too.
Yeah. And which is a shame, because like, I am not attacking either one of these person's characters, but both those movies fucking sucked.
Oh, 100%. Granted, I will say this. Bradley Cooper did do a fantastic job.
I'm not saying that Bradley Cooper didn't do a good job. I'm just saying that it was a bad movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I also, this is what I have to say, and it's probably going to be a fucking, bitter topic for some folks. They could have chose somebody better to play Marcus Luttrell than fucking,
Marky Mark.
Yeah, Marky Mark.
Yeah. I mean, I like Marky Mark. I don't know that he was the best guy for that, especially if you've seen an interview with Marcus Luttrell, because there's like very little overlap in their.
Also, the fact that Marcus Luttrell is like a foot taller than him.
Yeah. Well, they just put Mark Wahlberg on a box. It's all right. They do it with Tom Cruise all the time.
Yeah. Well, no, they actually had Marcus Luttrell standing next to fucking Marky Mark, and he was like a foot fucking taller than him.
Yeah. Though, yeah, going back to American Sniper, though, like, didn't Bradley Cooper put on like 50 pounds or some shit?
Dude, he got fucking yoked for that movie.
Yeah, and he didn't get like fucking like.
It wasn't cut. It was
He didn't get like ripped. He just like went
like strongman. Yeah, he went like straight up strongman style.
Which makes sense because like I don't know how many of these guys you ran into, but like I ran into a few SEALs, when I was in the Marines, and then I was school in Virginia Beach, so like they were around. You saw them. I never met any of those dudes that were cut, but they all could probably eat an F-250 for breakfast.
Yeah, no, and so like here's the thing, like I ran into a few of them being based out of San Diego because that's like their home.
Yeah, Coronado right there.
Yeah, it was either they looked like fucking triathlon competitors, or they were a fucking barbarian, and there was no in between.
Which is kind of funny because if you look at pictures of SEALs from like Vietnam, they're all like 4'8", like noodles with a fucking head on them.
Yeah, the original frogmen. Yeah,
like, the original frogmen. But like just it's kind of weird how that evolved.
Yeah, no, it's funny though, and then the funniest thing ever was like whenever you think about somebody someone who's never been in the military and everything like that, and they think of military members, they think the best of the best, always in shape and everything like that, and then then you look at us, of those of us that were in, we're like, nah, dude, like a lot of us were like sucking wind after running for like 5 minutes.
I guess it depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
No, if you're on shift, like they don't like enforce the fucking PT standards as much.
No, they do. Like so the weird thing is like when you're on the ship, we had like where we would work out like maybe like as a group like twice a week.
Yeah.
But we were still held to the standards, and the dumbest thing ever that they had in the Navy was it didn't matter how good you did on your push-ups and your sit-ups, because for the Navy, for the PRT, it's 3 events: push-ups, sit-ups, 1.5-mile run, or a swim, or you do the bike. But it doesn't matter how good
swim, because Navy.
No, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get into that. I have my own thoughts on how the Navy's PRT should be personally. But it doesn't matter how good you do on your push-ups or your sit-ups. If you get a lower score on your run or a fail, it's based off of your run, which in my mind doesn't make sense for the Navy, because outside of corpsmen, the spec ops guys, and maybe the Seabees or any of the rates that are attached, like while they're specifically attached to like a expeditionary unit,
or like anybody
they're not. Brown water or dirt Navy. Yeah, you're not going to be having to run 1.5 miles.
Which for people who aren't fucking familiar, they're all in the Navy, but they're almost completely different fucking cultures. So like you got surface Navy,
sub-Navy. So you have
surface Navy would be like frigates.
Surface warfare, which would be the frigates, the destroyers, the cruisers, the aircraft carriers, the amphib ships. And then you have submariners, which are technically still a sea duty, but theirs is different because their deployments are a lot.
And they're manned by vampires because that's actually hold on. Okay, so people, what the government doesn't want you to know is that submariners, they're all vampires. That's how we keep the peace with the vampire nation. We let them fold in the military. It's just we can't have them out there fighting in Iraq. Where the sun is. We put them all in the S2. The intel section, so they don't ever have to go outside and see the sun. Or if they're especially froggy, we put them in submarines where they can't see the sun ever.
Or they're in engineering where they also don't see the sun.
Yeah, but you got surface Navy, sub Navy, carrier Navy, and surface Navy ain't the fucking same. Then you got dirt Navy.
Well, so the surface Navy or surface warfare and aircraft carriers, so the surface Navy, the surface warfare actually supports the air units, which would be the aircraft carriers. So they are technically the same, but not at the same time. But and then you have brown water Navy, which is going to be like the smaller boats, or the basically our version, basically like the Vietnam, those little gunboats that they had going up the rivers and shit. That'd be brown water Navy. Nowadays, it's called Mesron or Riveron. They're basically the smaller boats that you see, like the ones that patrol the ports where the U.S. Navy's.
Yeah. And you say smaller boat, but like a PT boat's not a little fucking dinghy.
Compared to the other shit that they have, it is.
Yeah, but they're still like what, 40 feet long?
About that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in between like 30 and like 60 something feet.
Like they have like side mounted fucking like torpedoes and shit. Like they're
big. Actually no,
so
most of them now, not really. They don't have the torpedoes on them anymore. They're mainly just 50 cals or 240 Bravos mainly. I think the only ones that actually have the Gatlins are fucking Swick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But, I also haven't been out
ahead of ourselves though, because while
we are
talk extensively about sea life, and by sea life I don't mean marine. Wait, no, I do marine. Not marine life.
Not the animals.
Aquatic mammals. I'm talking about life on the high seas later in the books. The naval character in the first book is a Navy corpsman.
Yeah, Doc.
Which is another completely different part of the fucking Navy.
Yeah, which also Marines. Yeah, which is also getting into that also with the Marine. So going into with the corpsmen, you have Greenside corpsmen, which are the ones that went with guys like Tripp, and Blueside corpsmen, which are the ones that were on the ships and also working at like the Navy hospitals. Greenside corpsmen are like the best guys in all of the corpsmen. No questions asked.
They're the best guys in the American fighting force.
Yes.
You know that Navy corpsmen have the highest amount of not only medals of honor, but like awards awarded is probably not the right way to say that. Out of any singular MOS in the United States military.
Yeah. But what I was getting into is that, yes, although ironically, it's specifically Greenside corpsmen.
Mm-hmm.
Blueside corpsmen are the laziest motherfuckers I have ever met.
Yeah.
They're the ones that all the jokes about you're going in there and you have, like fucking pneumonia or like a collapsed lung and shit like that, and they just give you Motrin until you get the fuck out.
Yeah. No, but the Doc character in the books, he's based on a few people. Like mostly corpsmen I was with when I was, in the Marines. Good buddy of mine, still talk to him all the time, but also a little bit off of one of my dad's friends. And fucking I feel really bad for this because I don't remember the guy's name. We just hung out with him at gun shows. But he graduated high school in like 1966 or 7 and really, really did not want to go to Vietnam. So in an effort to dodge the draft, he did the thing that you do. If you want to beat a game, you beat it by its own rules. So he thinks, I don't want to go to Vietnam. I'm going to join the Navy. So he goes and he talks to the recruiter, and the recruiter's like, hey, you should be a corpsman. And he's like, what do corpsmen do? He's like, they hang out at the hospitals with all the hot nurses. And he's like, sign me the fuck up. Less than 2 years later, the only guys in his fucking platoon that left fucking Cambodia were him and the dude he was fucking dragging. Which came into, what Doc was doing in the last chapter when they're in the last chapter in the first book where they're in Iraq, where he's going back and pretty much pulling the Forrest Gump before they all get hit.
Yeah. No, and dude, like I have some fucked up stories to talk about my time in the Navy, but that's not what this one's about. This one is about talking about the books.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room, specifically chapter 22, Waltzing with Matilda.
It's Waltzing Matilda, not Waltzing with Matilda.
Sorry, Waltzing Matilda.
And Waltzing Matilda is the national song of Australia that the 1st and 2nd Marine Division, and I don't know off the top of my head, it might be the 4th Army Infantry Division, but they picked that up in Australia.
Nate Mon says, Trip, hi, side note, your voice reminds me of my buddy Sephiroth.
Yeah.
Excited face. Also, hi, Seph. Hey, Nate.
Yeah.
But, so, as you can tell, yes, I am of the paler complexion.
Yes, so it's Quentin Tarantino.
Yes. So, just to get it out there, yes, I did drop the hard R in the context of saying you're not supposed to say that. So please, if you're gonna fight
everyone
me,
go cancel him. Cancel him for saying it. Not me for writing it or saying it 14 other times in the book.
Yeah, so here's the thing. If you want to fight me, just come up and say, hey, I don't like that you said that, even though the context of was saying that you're not supposed to say that. Let's duke it out. I'll handle that. If you try to jump me, you're gonna catch some hot 9mm to the chest. Just saying.
Which is also extremely presumptuous to assume that not only do enough people read and or listen to this book that there would be an outcry about it. I mean, overall, the book does do fairly well. I'm not fucking, doing the fucking Neil Gaiman or Stephen King or fucking Anne Rice fucking numbers or whoever the fuck wrote Twilight.
Which is a fucking shame, by the way.
Well, no. So I was looking at this thing, because every once in a while, fucking, you get depressed about something. You're like, oh man, I should be doing better than this, blah, 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 fucking whatever. I'm going to beat myself up. But then it's like, well, maybe I should see what I should actually be mad about. Let me go make sure I should be mad about this. What I'm doing comparatively, right? So most independently published authors sell 12 copies of anything over their lifetime. And most traditionally published, yeah, I'm should be 7 by the end of the year. But the average number of traditionally published books is 200, which you might think, I don't know, man, that's I don't know about those numbers, but you think about it. You go into a Barnes and Noble or some bookstore, you get a book. And say you're an avid fucking reader. Say you're just tearing up books. You read 5, 10 books a month. Do you have any idea how many fucking books are out there? It's a lot.
Yeah. That, and also speaking of Barnes and Noble, when you walk in there, a lot of times when you see the popular books and you go in there multiple times a week and the number never goes down except for maybe by 1 or 2.
I mean, I would imagine that would have to do with stocking, and they have more in the back, and every time somebody buys one, they fill it up. Kind of like if you go into the gas station and there's a whole thing of milk, and you buy a milk, but you come back and there's that milk there again, and you're like, I swear to God, I bought this. How'd this fucking get back here? Is this fucking witchcraft?
But then again, also a lot of times, going into that though, a lot of times you'll go in there and a month has gone by and all of those popular books have a thick layer of dust on them.
Now, see, that though reflects poorly on the fucking people that are working there because they're not taking pride in their fucking book selling. It's not hard. Not even them. No, they need to fire their janitor. That guy's got one fucking job. Dust the fucking book.
No. You know what we need to do? We need to start beating the high schoolers and their parents because they are not encouraging their children to read.
Fucking That reminds me of something fucking, and this was one of the greatest fucking things ever. There was somebody that wrote a book. I forget what I think it was called The Enlistment. I'm not sure. But it was pretty much this guy's memoirs about being a shitbag fucking Lance Corporal in Camp Lejeune for 4 fucking years. And
you mean Smokepit Fairytales?
I had a plot, thank you. But I'm never going to read this book, but the reviews are awesome because if you go to Amazon and look at this book, I think it was called The Enlistment. They're all 1 star, and the synopsis on most of them is, I wish I could give this 0 stars, or this is just a string of shitty Facebook status updates that someone put together and called it a book. I would suggest reading this book if you wanted an excuse to bring book burnings back, because this would be validation for that.
No, it's God damn it. So, but yeah, no. So let's going into with the audiobook. If you noticed at the start of the chapters, like a lot of people were like kind of nervous because not a lot of people aren't used to, you know, playing a character. And the one thing I can actually contribute to why I was so good at doing the different characters. Granted, my audio quality at first sucked because I was just recording on this bitch before I got my nice setup that I have, which ironically, the one of the main reasons why I bought the setup that I did is specifically to give Trip such, higher quality.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of wizardry involved. I learned a lot about fucking audio production this year. Like a fucking lot.
Yeah, so like going into books past like 4 and beyond, there's a program that I already have on my computer that I'm probably just going to go ahead and buy the straight license, so I don't have to pay a subscription for it when I have the cash for it. So that way, because I know that it would be easier for Trip to go ahead and have me voice specific things that, without giving spoilers, are kind of hard to do with the normal vocal range of an average human being.
So I think you know what you're talking about. I'm not going to go into it now because, a lot of people listening have only listened to the first book. So I don't think there's a way to talk about that without giving spoilers. But I have a plan.
Which is why I said what I did. But no, it was that voice mod thing that I posted about on Twitter, and you were asked how good is it. So the thing is that, like,
they all suck. Like they're goddamn terrible. Like I believe at some point in the future they will get better, but right now they are shit.
So ironically, the one that I have actually is nice. It's just that I have to pay for it to have access to their whole library of basically different voice changers, which.
Yeah, and I messed around with those a lot because, like, I was in the mindset of like, all right, do I rely on these other people to get voices when I could just do this myself? Let me go look up. Okay, so I either have to get a lot better at fucking voice acting, or I have to get better at voice acting. Got
it. No. So doing the different voices though, the one thing that I can contribute to doing the voices is ironically Dungeons and Dragons, because I got really into that whenever I was in the Navy. And I got into doing the different voices and everything like that.
Where he sailed the 7 seas.
Yes, where I sailed the 7 seas, aka off the coast
of the Navy.
Ironically, off the coast of fucking South America and Central America. So, but no, I
sailed all the 5 seas. That's 7, dipshit. God damn it.
But so one of the things that I had talked to Trip about is that I'm like, hey, I can actually do some voices, and for Carl saying one day I will voice act. Fucking talk to Trip. I guarantee you that he'll probably have a spot for you after book 3, because book 3 is kind of like characters that we already have set.
The funny thing about Carl though, and there's two parts to this. Old buddy of mine, but one of them is I did base a character off of him. I'm not going to go into detail for anybody, but it was Stockton's girlfriend in the 4th book.
Nice.
And the other one, he sounds like a younger, less pissed off Samuel L. Jackson.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, actually, there. I think there's a character that matches, but that's after book 6.
There's a few.
Yeah, but anyway, one of the things I've been telling Trip is that, listen, you tell me when I can and will bust out the Team 4-star Dragon Ball Z bridged voices for Nappa, Vegeta, Mr. Popo, and Krillin and Piccolo. He has those in the chamber. He just has yet to pull.
Yeah, the problem is they're like trying to as much as I would like the bad guy in the 9th book to sound like Mr. Popo. That's not gonna work.
Oh, dude, could you just imagine he's just like tearing into fucking.
Which, by the way, spoiler warning, it's Hillary Clinton.
Spoiler, not spoiler. If you're a conspiracy theorist, it is a spoiler. I'll just give you a hint. What were those things that she coughed up into that glass of water during her campaign?
Cloaca.
God damn it, you almost made me spit up my whiskey.
Right up in the nose.
But I guarantee you that there's also a character, because like as all of us 90s kids, the one show that we all grew up watching, Beavis and Butthead. What is the one character, what is the one personality that everybody has always tried to do the voice for?
The lesbian seagulls fucking art music teacher.
Her
guys.
Also The Great
not
Cornholio.
not Hank Hill. You the two guys walking off of my trailer.
God damn it, you two boys whacking off of my trailer again.
Which implies that Beavis and Butthead whack off together, which that show's got a lot of weird implications.
Well, I mean, like, to be fair, also, why are they high schoolers living in a house by themselves?
Yeah.
Also, why does Beavis have a different personality when he ingests too much sugar or caffeine?
I don't know, but I love that one episode where he ate a bunch of something or drank a bunch of something. He was on a sugar high, right? Because
and he turned into the Great Cornholio.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the Cornholio. He was having a dream where he was in the American Revolutionary War, but he was Rambo, and like he's killing all the Brits. He's like, "Take that, you commie buttholes!
Take that, you commie buttholes!"
Yeah.
Dude, speaking with that, whenever I was working as a security guard for the company down here at the federal buildings, one of the guys that I worked with, because I have one of those Ozark Trail water jugs that you get from Walmart that like works better than a Yeti, and it's like a third of the fucking price. But I have a picture, a sticker on there that is of a couple of guys, but they modeled the picture of them after Beavis and Butthead. And the guy was like, "I'm the Great Cornholio," and I'm like, "No, listen. If you're gonna do it, you got to do it." And I go, "I am the Great Cornholio," and he from the bunghole. and he just like blue screen. He was like, "Wait, what the fuck? Do that again." But I have done a couple of the voices that I do for Trip, and he was just like, "I'm gonna use that somehow. I don't know how, but I'm going."
Well, my favorite one of yours though was like, I know that like Rainer and Kyle had bigger parts.
It was Cantut.
No, it wasn't Cantut. It was that medical officer in fucking Bethesda.
Oh yeah, the fucking douchebag.
Because you nailed the asshole fucking officer fucking like voice. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure you guys have listened to it by now. If not, stop listening to this. Go listen to the fucking audiobook and come back. Or stay here and come back later. But you know, Hank's in a medical hospital, and there's this fucking medical officer that's just like, yeah, your patient number fucking, I don't know, 42069. Fucking what the fucking filthy enlisted swine, get away from me.
Oh yeah, no, so what Trip told me was like he flat out told me, embody the most snotty, toxic leader that you can think of. And I was like, got it.
Yeah, no, I think you did well with that. Like, not that you know, you didn't like, not that you fucking shat on the other characters or anything, but you know,
yeah, well,
that one just like rocked, or not rocked, but like flowed.
Yeah, it was
exactly right.
Well, I think that goes into saying how many of those assholes I had to deal with while I was in.
Yeah, there's about a few.
Yeah,
and there's about a few in the books too. And I meant to bring this up with Hollis, but I didn't. So you know how there's that like whole fucking strife between like Hank and fucking Chancellorth in the books?
Yeah.
If you read that like objectively, Chancellorth's right about all that shit. Hey, don't show up to work drunk, asshole.
Yeah,
but you know, the story makes you the bad guy because you know the story is about a fucking Lance Corporal Sergeant fucking dipshit, you know,
who's been over for like 4 fucking tours.
Yeah, but just because you've been on 4 fucking deployments doesn't mean you can't be an idiot.
Yeah, but also at the same time, also don't try to talk about what being a real Marine is to somebody who's deployed when the only deployment you had was sitting in an air-conditioned, you know, trailer in a non-combat zone.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of that strife in the book, which is reflective of being in the military in the late aughts. Even though, well, it's kind of funny because like in my mind, that story is about, you know, fucking, you know, the late 2000s, being in the military, even though I don't name dates in the book, but if they're excited about going to fight ISIS, like it can't have happened before what 2013 ish, especially because he was in a coma for a year and then woke up and there was an election going on. So that was probably like, I didn't give a date, but that was probably 2016 in the end of the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and then also going into that, also like the one thing that irritated was one of the earlier characters that I've voiced. It was when they were down in the tomb. Was the sergeant that I voiced? Is that like
Comer.
yeah? But he had no voice lines whenever he had been injured, which I was like, because that would have given me a chance to actually do a little bit more depth of the character instead of him trying to be the cool, calm, collected sergeant and trying to keep people from fucking panicking. Which is what I kind of embodied whenever I was voicing him during that scene. Was I was wanting him to basically trying to be the Rock to keep everybody together before, so nobody would lose their fucking shit. Granted, one of the guys was also going already.
Yeah. Reyes was losing his shit pretty hard there. Like he was like
talking to a doll's head. Yeah, talking to a doll's head. But no, like the funniest thing was like whenever I first read through that, I did not attribute the story that you're writing as being a retelling of the epics of Gilgamesh, which it had been years since I had read that. So it was one of those things that was like just locked way, way, way back in the back of my brain. And after I was reading through it, and when the first time that you had Gladwine mentioned the epics of Gilgamesh, I was like, and I messaged you, I was like, oh, you motherfucker.
Yeah, no, and like low key, fucking like there's a lot of shit that happens in that book, but as far as I'm concerned, the climax of that book's like not the last paragraph, but like the second and third to last page, when Hank and Gladwine were like, hey, so remember that time we made out at the ball? And then Rainer shows them like, hey, let's change the subject real quick. Hey, you ever read this like random book?
Almost made out at the ball. They never actually kissed.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But hey, remember when we almost made out at the ball? And then she's like, I wouldn't cheat on my husband, but hey, Rainer, what's up? Yeah. Hey, so you ever read this? No, what's that about? Remember that thing that happened in Iraq? Yes. So
yeah, and going in for the majority of your books, like I do like the original concept that you have for them, but also like molding them to be retellings of other classic tales, which I am a huge fan of, because then again, it also gets people into going in and reading those classics at the same time, which this goes into one of my favorite sayings ever: those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Like you're gonna have these people, like ironically, there are people who have redone stories that they have never read unknowingly.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what?
There's something like 25
happening?
stories. Like there's only like 25 different stories, and I forget what they all are, but it's mostly man comes to town, man leaves town, man leaves village, boy meets girl, girl loves boy, girl doesn't like boy and is locked in their fucking tower. Like if you boil them down, they're that. But like I also, while I did pull heavily from a lot of classic literature for my novels, I think they're also different enough to where like it would be forgivable.
They can stand on their fucking own, which is fantastic. Like no one needs to know that they're based off of that to understand that it can stand on its own. But then also those who have actually read them in the past can appreciate that, because
and I've had a lot of people that have like texted me or messaged me or emailed me or whatever about my books, and they've been like, hey, I just got done reading this book. What the fuck was this? And I was like, that was a bunch of Japanese death poems and Robin Hood. Oh, holy shit. How did I not put... I never read Japanese death poems, so I don't know what the fuck that is. But yeah, the Robin Hood thing. Holy fuck.
Yeah, no. And like, whenever I got done reading X books, you're like, all right, hey. And I was like, all right, don't tell me what they're based off of yet. I want to shoot my guesses at it. And I think it was books 2, 3, 4. No, not 4, because 4 was the one based off of the death poems. And then I think it was
also, real quick, everyone. We try to keep these about an hour. We're at 5 or 55 minutes. We're gonna go on for a few more minutes after this, but I am gonna open the doorway for heavy spoilers for the rest of the fucking series. So if you haven't read anything beyond the audiobook, this is your warning on.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, like, no, we're going into it.
All right.
But, spoiler zone, go for it.
All right, but yeah, if I remember correctly, I think it was book 4 or 5 was based off the death poems. I can't remember exactly which one right now off the top of my head.
The fourth one was mostly Japanese death poems.
Yeah. So yeah, book 4
and Def Leppard and Judas Priest lyrics.
Yeah, and then I had guessed books 5 and 6 pretty correctly as well.
Yeah, but 5 was literally just fucking Hamlet in space, and 6 was
Blackbeard,
Macbeth, but also Blackbeard, which is kind of funny because I was looking it up. They were originally be 2 different fucking parts in the fucking thing, and then I was like, oh, Blackbeard had a lot of shit in common with Macbeth in real life.
Yeah, sorry, Jason.
Yeah. People, for those of you listening later, people are saying, hey, I'm leaving the chat right now. I don't want to know.
Yeah. But no, like the fact of the matter is that like it's like I was pretty quickly into book 3 when I realized it was based off of the Iliad, which for those of you who don't Odysseus' Odyssey. Sorry. But no, I think it was book 2 that was off the Iliad, right?
Yeah, book 2 was the Iliad.
Yeah, book 2 was the one I realized pretty quickly that was based off of the Iliad because it like if you're paying attention, it is very, very obviously the Siege of Troy.
Well, you don't even have to pay attention. You just have to have you just have to like have watched a Iliad documentary because the first line in the Iliad is seeing goddess, the wrath of Achilles, and the book of watch goddess, the wrath of the Fawns,
or watch the fucking movie Troy,
or the fucking what it was the
Hercules and Xena.
No, hold on. I got a 2-pointer for this. So, like, the first thing I did was, like, in the Iliad, you had gods showing up. I didn't have gods, but I do have giant fucking robots that are fucking functional alien technology that come down in, like, Ex Machina shit that would have happened in the Iliad. So instead of, Athena or Apollo or Zeus coming down, it's a giant fucking alien robot. And then the fucking fortress that was a mech factory that was, like, the main objective of the fucking book was called Ilium, which is what the Greeks called Troy, which is where you get the word Iliad.
Very much so.
Yeah.
But one thing I will have to say is the fact of the matter is that I love your sprinkling of fucking, lines that'll connect later on, but they're hidden as a fucking red herring.
Yeah, because there'll be some shit where, for the sake of example, at the beginning of the fucking second book, Hank's talking to Penelope on the phone because, he's in Latvia and, she's at home and she's pregnant. And she's saying that she either wants to name her kid, fucking Edward Thatch or Mary Reed, who are both pirates. And you could look at that as like, oh, hey, why does she want to name her daughter Mary Reed? That's kind of weird. And then, I don't know, 4 fucking books later, it's the story of Blackbeard, and it's the son they named Edward Thatch.
Who literally, whenever
what documents you're reading,
who literally, whenever he would board the fucking spaceships, whenever he would take off his fucking helmet, it would look like fucking smoke. Yeah, the steam that would come off of it, it looked like smoke, and he has his big ass beard with fucking 6 pistols and a dagger.
Yeah, which is the Blackbeard loadout.
Yep.
Because back in the day in naval warfare, like you couldn't rely on a gun to work, so you took a bunch of guns because the firing range was literally skin on muzzle contact. You'd be in a sword fight, you put a gun up to somebody, pull the trigger, and since you're at sea, a lot of times the gun doesn't fucking go off. So like click, fuck, bang. All right, finally, goddamn. Except for, I updated it to, all right, well, you got like 6 guns that just work.
Yeah, 6 guns with multiple shots each.
But then also the other thing with that though, and 2 of them, so like, Thatch is, half fucking virus, which are the fucking aliens in this. So, he's taller, he's got, dark green skin, he's got fucking fangs.
And fiery red hair.
Yeah, so he looks like a demon anyway. However, one of the fucking fun things about Blackbeard is if you look at just the English, like, records of him, like, he, like, fucked off for, like, 6 months. And if you look at the Spanish records of him, he didn't show up until those 6 months, and they didn't call him Blackbeard. They called him El Gran Diablo. So Thatch's, pirate moniker that the Spanish gave him, which I'm going to come back to the Spanish chapter in a minute. They called him, the Spanish called him El Gran Diablo. So the stand-in for the Spanish Navy in the books nicknamed him El Gran Diablo. And I've got a few people that got irritated with that chapter because I used everyone's full name for the entire thing, but I was making fun of the Spanish. So it was like, this guy did this, but it wasn't like Bob did it. It was like Pedro Juan Deliago, De La Sorrento, Los Angeles, San Diego, El Javier, Ramirez, Vasquez, fucking whatever, push the button on the helm for like a whole fucking chapter just to make fun of Spain.
Yeah, which also, getting into books 4, 5, and 6, you know what you did at the end of book 6, and I still fucking hate you for it. I love you, but fuck you.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. And once again, we've already established that we're in a spoiler zone, right? So
no. With this, I will not spoil this at all because they need to understand
only
why
talking
I
about the
fucking
people
hate
who
you.
have read the books. Sorry, sucks to suck. We gave you the fucking like, hey, leave. All right.
Okay, so when the fact that Samum did not get the death that she fucking deserved.
Yeah, because that character was a fuck you to the reader. And it wrote it. Just wait until book 10 where they get a necromancer and raise her from the dead. And then she's a zombie the whole book, just tagging along.
No, I think the biggest part of that is why I hated Samum so much is because ironically she reminded me of one of my exes. Like exactly with the same fucking mind games that she fucking played.
Yeah.
Although I was smart enough and never stuck my dick in her and never married her, so I made out better than Thatch did.
Yeah. Well, where I was going to go with originally though was at the end of book 6. A lot of people are pissed off about Sam's fucking ending. A lot of other people fucking would finish the book and text me immediately and be like, dude, Hank and Penelope died in that nuke blast. And it's like, go back and read that chapter again. The last chapter of the 3rd book. Yeah, some blind, crazy old dude put back a nuclear bomb that like fell in his backyard. And the book ends with Hank pressing the button. But you really think that worked?
No, I was one of those ones that when I messaged you, I was like, first of all, go fuck yourself. Second of all, what the fuck?
Yeah. And then one of the things that like I did this on purpose because I appreciated the way it worked. And I've heard people liked it, but you don't know what everybody thinks. Is I don't explain why the fuck Penelope's alive until 3/4 of the way through the 7th book. And then it's like an offhanded comment.
Oh, yeah. But no, one of the things that I love is that starting from book 3, you started putting in hints of the Norse gods, which as a Norse pagan, I love.
Yeah. Like also, I'm not going to give anyone any spoilers for anything that's not published yet. Just, hey, maybe look here for a few things, if you want to make your predictions. But fucking every time something important happens after the 6th book, there's always 2 ravens there fucking watching what happens, right? Hank straight up bumps into Odin at one point. And the story talks about Christmas and Santa Claus a lot.
Which, for those of you who don't know, Christmas is technically a Norse pagan holiday called Yule.
And Odin is Santa Claus. So no spoilers. Just when if you're reading the books trying to figure out what's going to happen next, maybe look into that a little bit more.
Yeah, because also, if you can't tell, I have.
Wait, no. I'm sorry. No, you got to back this up. You got to go back to fucking book 1 with that.
Oh, yep, you're right.
Because in book 2, fucking Russian or Hank kills a dude. No, I'm sorry. They're going through bodies, and they found finds
Thor's hammer.
Thor's hammer. Fucking amulet, keeps it with him. But in the 1st book, Hank's talking about fucking religion, and he's like, yeah, fucking, I'd like to think I believe in God, but, fucking, if I die and it's not St. Peter at the Pearly Gates and Odin's there instead, I don't know if I'm going to be mad about it. Again, I'm not giving you any more information than what's already in the fucking books.
Yes, because here's the thing. Even though I'm one of the ones helping him with his fucking audiobooks, he's also not telling me shit because he also knows that if he gave me a legitimate spoiler, I would walk my happy ass to Pennsylvania with a crowbar and break his kneecaps.
Simoon comes back as a zombie and stalks the Fellowship.
So she's Gollum, which is basically no change to her fucking character.
Well, she's also Ava Braun.
So Gollum, but no change to her character.
Also, like the 10th book picks up immediately, like after the Hank and Doc fight, and a bunch of Nazi bikers show up, and I don't mean like fucking like American white supremacist. I mean like actual guys of the Third Reich that used a time travel machine to come to the distant future of whatever fuck year they're in to go fight Hank and Doc in Nazi California. Okay.
So right. California. But for some reason, my Guinness looks like with how the head
because you poured it like shit, man. God damn.
No, well, first of all, I poured it out of a goddamn bottle, not a fucking can. First of all, but the weird thing is it look like if you look like right up here, it kind of looks like a fucking float, which I'm kind of about. Fuck, I need to get vanilla ice cream and actually try that now.
I don't know if I've ever done a Guinness float.
Dude, neither have I, but it sounds like it'd go really nice because, Guinness has that, like, coffee chocolatey flavor to it.
Yeah. Also, though, another thing, this is no spoiler, but this is kind of a blatant, maybe you should have paid attention to a little bit more for predicting what's going to happen in the future. Remember when they're like leaving California and they're trying to get to Texas and they run into the Navajo and there's that dude that spoke to God?
Yeah.
Do you think his word on a few things might hold some weight considering that like he knew all about fucking Thatch, even though he's never fucking met Thatch and he accredited it to God telling him that?
Yeah, which also for those of you who don't know, the Navajo, they don't speak to God. They speak to the Great Spirit.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, and he explained that. He's like, yeah, you might call him God. some people might call him this, XYZ, whatever.
Yeah, which goes into one of the theories is that all of the religions are correct. It's just they talk about who is who differently. Like how in monotheism, which is, religions that believe in being one God, but with multiple servants, you have the head honcho, which also, if you look into like Norse paganism, Roman/Greece paganism, Hinduism,
which is it's kind of funny. Like not so much with Hinduism, that one works a little bit differently, but definitely with Near East and European and most African religions, all you have to do is like read that a little bit different, and instead of God and his angels, you have big God, little God. Because like if you could easily misinterpret, say, fucking like North goddamn fucking paganism as like Odin is big G God and everyone else is little G God. They have to like go do their shit. Would you be right? Would you be correct about that? I mean, that's up to debate, but it could very easily be translated as that.
Yeah, but also at the same time, though, but like there are the differences in them where you can also see, just because he's the big God doesn't mean he's the end all be all. Like a perfect example with Norse paganism, where you have gods that are strong enough to take him out or actually the child of one of the ones that's below him that does take him out, but then one of his sons comes back and kills his nephew that killed his dad.
Yeah,
I know.
And there's a lot of other like weird shit that goes into that too, because like if you want to bring the Eastern religions back into this, think about this. I get a little brain teaser question for you. So in Eastern religions, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. I'm sorry to pull the fucking Trump on that one. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
The great.
You know, yeah, like so you live your life, you die, you are reborn, you get reincarnated, you're reborn, and you have to live, die, repeat, constantly living and being reborn until you get to, the ultimate state of, nirvana
or whatever,
or wherever you're going. But you look at, like, say, specifically Christianity, you live your old life, you're reborn in Christ, which if you look at it, like nowadays, like Christians look at it as metaphorical, but it was meant to be extremely fucking literal. And we'll go into why that was what the issue with Christians in Rome was in a minute. But it's kind of the same idea. You have this old life, you have a major life-changing event, so much so that your old self dies and you're born again and become this new person.
Yeah, and then like like I was saying, that with the other religions, they do have their differences with that. So like with specifically with Norse paganism,
yeah,
if you died of like sickness or old age, you went to hell, where you would then be reborn to have a chance to earn your way into Valhalla. Where Valhalla is those for those who died in battle, to be basically standing by for Ragnarok, or in translationing to Christianity, rapture or end of days.
Yeah, and there's two things that we'll bring up about this. First off, it wasn't only Valhalla. Folkvanger was a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Secondly, though, it is kind of funny because there is a dispute on when Ragnarok happens. Either it's the end of this world, or that was the end of the last world. Ragnarok already happened, and we're dealing with the fucking after consequences of it.
Yeah, which speaking of which, if you haven't played God of War Ragnarok yet, I know you played God of War 2016 or 20.
No, the second was the last one I played.
Okay. You played Ragnarok?
I said the second one.
Oh yeah, 2018
on PlayStation 2 in like 2005.
Okay, well, let me know. I will lend you my fucking PlayStation account, because you can play both of them on your fucking PS4.
Right.
They are like, I thought 2018 was fucking beautiful, and then I played Ragnarok, and I back in end of October, beginning of, like, basically all of fucking November, I ironically, when I bought my house, I had the entire month of November off because of some bullshit that happened job side, where I was a fuck up on their end, where I wasn't able to fucking work because of some bullshit. But I stayed up 36 hours straight in damn near 100% Ragnarok. And honestly, like, in my mind, that is probably one of the best fucking games I have played ever, based solely off of the fucking story.
Yeah. So going back to the Christians in Rome, one of the things that I think is funny about the discourse about, the Romans persecuting the Christians is most people are completely wrong that happened and why it happened. Because, if you talk to like evangelical Christians, like, oh, they just hated God, so they had to kill the Christians, which is not right. The big one, though, is that people like to think that the reason that the Romans fucking hated Christianity was because, the Romans would fold their gods into their religion if they invaded somebody, right? Like, I'm Rome, you're fucking Matt, I take over Matt, Matt's gods are my gods now, right? That's what they would do most of the time, just fold them. Hey, you can keep your gods, they're just our gods now too. And a lot of people think that the reason that the Romans hated fucking Christians and Jews was because the Jews and the Christians refused to like acknowledge that there were multiple gods, and that, Yahweh, or whatever you want to call them, like,
no, it came down to money. It came down to them not wanting to pay the taxes.
No, it didn't come down to that. It did not come down to that. Yeah. So like a lot of people think, oh, hey, the Romans hated the Christians because they wouldn't let them fold their God into our thing, pay the tithes, whatever. That was irritating, but it wasn't genocide worthy. What was, though, was out of all the things in Roman law and cultural fucking acceptability fucking standards, the worst thing that a human being could do is commit cannibalism. And back in the day, like now, Christians will be like, oh, hey, we're gonna, take the Eucharist, we're gonna drink the wine. That's metaphorical about eating the blood and eating the flesh and drinking the blood of Christ. Back then, it was extremely fucking literal, and they're like, no, we're eating God. And the Romans were like, so you're cannibals. And the Christians were like, well, I mean, we have to eat Jesus' body. And they're like, so you're cannibals? Okay, get the fucking lions. These guys are fucking cannibals, dude. What the fuck? And
because they didn't translate it to where Jesus, during the Last Supper with all of his apostles and everything like that, it was like, the bread is my body and the wine is my blood.
Yeah. And that was meant to be taken literally. Like it, in your mouth becomes, the flesh and blood, which is cannibalism. And that's like fucking that's like, hey, bro, you're OJ Simpson and we're going to try you guilty.
It's like, hey, listen, we don't even need evidence because you've already admitted guilt. So
yeah. And then like that got like, fucking co-opted into the fucking, depending on how you want to say it, messaging or propaganda or whatever. Like they're persecuting us for our beliefs. It's like, yeah, but your beliefs are eating people, man. Jesus, eating Jesus. You're eating Jesus.
Like, no, we're just eating these, and he said that they represented this. I'm like, yeah, but he's also saying that it actually turns into him. So you're a cannibal.
Which you gotta give it to him, though. You have to give it to him. Yeah, dude, we ate this guy. We're gonna feed you to lions. Just tell us you didn't eat that guy. No, I ate that guy. All right, man. Well,
listen, I'm gonna break it down so even fucking the hunchback over there, who was dropped on his head quite a few too many times, can fucking understand it. Say you didn't actually fucking eat somebody.
Nope.
Fuck it.
Which, that's not why I'm a Christian, but like I take a little bit of pride in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. And for those of you wondering, when I said that I'm a Norse pagan, I grew up as a Methodist Episcopal Christian. Like I grew up, I went to church all the time. Yet, ironically, something in the back of my head had always said, this doesn't feel right. And, I like growing up, I would jokingly, like whenever I'm from Southern Illinois originally, which is, stone's throw away from basically where Tripp's from originally in Ohio, which by the way, Ohio doesn't fucking
I am
exist.
not from fucking Ohio. If you say that again, I will fucking kill
you. But, anyway, so you know how bad the storms are in the Midwest, how like when like thunderstorms roll by, they fucking roll by.
Yeah.
And, I would always jokingly say, oh shit, Thor's pissed. Quick, make a sacrifice. And, but shortly after I transitioned out of the military, I had unknowingly been drifting away from Christianity and been finding what felt right, which happened to be Norse paganism. It feels right. My wife, we actually have an altar in our house where we currently have a totem for Freya, Loki, and then the moment I read about the god that we have on there, Euler, I was like, holy shit, this god embodies everything that is me. He is the Norse god of hunting, winter, skiing, and duels. He is basically, he loves the cold, he loves to hunt, he loves to ski.
He loves the cold, so I moved to Texas to honor him.
Dude, but no, ironically, like we hadn't transitioned into Norse paganism until after we had moved down here, and it had been like a couple of years. But and then, one-on-one mutual combat, which I'm from the Midwest. I'm from a fucking podunk town in Southern Illinois where the fucking start of deer season was an excused absence from school. I love the winter. I would much rather shiver than sweat. Like I jumped into Lake Michigan and lakes in Southern Illinois.
Which by the way, it's not that hard. Like fucking long johns exist. Put a fucking hoodie on. It ain't that bad.
Exactly.
Also, maybe don't wear slippers outside in the fucking snow. Get something with a grip on your fucking shoes.
Now, ironically, then there's people like my crazy ass who will walk out in fucking knee-deep snow in nothing but a pair of fucking shorts for 2 hours and be like, this is nice. But I've never done skiing or snowboarding, but I had always had a feeling that I would actually be pretty decent at it. But because my sense of balance is actually fairly fucking good. Like I can ride on a fucking, one of the loosest fucking skateboards out there that like any slight movement would fucking send you which way. But I can fucking ride those no issue. I don't try tricks. It's just mainly for the fucking ride. But and then I fucking competed in MMA and wrestling during high school, and I fell in love with it. So like everything aside from skiing, I have experience with, and I fucking love. Like, tell me that if Trip, if we had grown up with each other and you knew me like that, and you, I was like, hey dude, check this god out, or check this out, and you read through that, you'd be like, are you sure you're not basically telling me about you? That's
no,
how I felt.
I'm pretty sure I'd be like, yeah, that's neat. My god can beat up your god.
But no, but the fact of the matter is, like, when I first read about him, I was like, holy shit, this encompasses basically everything that I love, aside from my family, which is where Freya comes in.
Yeah.
But
also again, before we wrap this up, because we're all over, so we're gonna get going soon. I'll allow you a rebuttal if you have one to this. As to where the rest of the books are going, it's been established that ghosts exist.
Yeah, if for those of you who have read past book 1,
which we've given you the spoiler warnings, you're here.
Yeah,
it's on you.
Yeah. Literally in book 2 and 3, Hank is having nightmares of his buddies who fucking died.
Yeah, and I present it in a manner that, like, okay, so with Hank, so far it's always been, is this a ghost or a weird nightmare? And then I kind of do the same thing with Thatch, except for like
they're actually there while he's awake.
No, they were there in the fucking room.
But dude, by the way, you haven't heard get fucking like skull fucked in front of him and enjoying it.
Yeah. So ghosts exist in the books. For if you're trying to guess what's going to happen next.
Also, for those of you who haven't noticed, Trip and I were having a talk about this last night. Think of the fluorescence.
I don't think you noticed us talking last night.
Well, no, I'm saying that you and I were talking about this last night. Okay, but think about it. If you were a podunk farmer, think Amish. And you, Nate, are they tangible? What are they made of? If they are, what do they taste like? Has anyone tried to take a bite out of them? Can they bleed?
I don't know if they can bleed, but they can definitely leave some ectoplasm on your face, if you know what I'm saying.
But anyway, as you and I were talking about last night, for those of you who have read the books,
actually, yeah, let me do this. Okay, so for those of you, like, no new information if you've read the books, right? But if, I don't know, World War III happened fucking 50 years ago, and it's been pretty much Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome since then. And you were walking around the woods and you saw a 7-foot tall, brightly colored, green skinned, fiery haired being that lived for 1,000 years and was an extremely tuned with fucking nature. What would you think that was?
look at Nate's news comment.
That can be a form of blood which bleeds. It can be killed. Yes, absolutely. Go read my fucking bio. It's in there.
Nate, let me know if you want. I will actually mail you my physical copies of the book since you are currently active duty fucking Space Force.
Anyway, fucking, if you saw that in the woods, what would you think that was? And you grew up like the only, like, you don't know how to read. Fucking the only fucking information you have besides how corn grows or like fairy tales your fucking parents told you. What would you think the fucking virescents were? And then it's been established that Man Bear Pig is there, and there's a lot of them, and they're semi-intelligent, and I didn't do anything with them besides, point out that they fucking exist. If you're a dirt farmer and you saw those things, what would you think those things were? And then if you saw a bunch of like little 4-foot tall gray aliens running around, also in that same situation, what do you think those were? Also, Hank and Doc are immortal and are not above letting you just assume shit about them. Just, form in your own mind what you think's going to happen next. But on that, Matt, you got any following words?
Buy Trip's fucking books.
Buy my books.
Buy it. Buy a goddamn gun. Learn how to fucking use it if you don't already have one.
Go listen to the audiobook for Smokepit Fairytales.
Yeah, go listen to the audiobook for the Smokepit Fairytales. You can all but like 2 chapters are on Spotify. You can buy it on fucking Amazon for like, what is it, like $12-15?
It depends. If you get a Kindle subscription, you can read it for free. And
yeah, if you got a Kindle subscription, you can read it for free. But for the audiobook, if you have an Audible,
and you don't have to feel bad about that because Amazon still pays me if you read it for free. Just
and also if you have an Audible subscription, you can use your fucking one free audiobook a month to fucking get that, or support the goddamn creator of this and actually pay out of your own fucking pocket for it. One thing I would actually suggest is also go to his goddamn website and get the war chest. It comes in, you get the first 6 books in a fucking 50 cal ammo can. Actually, ironically, mine says 5.56, so technically not a 50 cal, but same.
Well, yeah, but you recognize that as a 50 cal ammo can.
They're the same goddamn size. Yeah, they're the same goddamn size ammo can. I should know. I worked with them while I was in the goddamn Navy.
Yeah.
But either way, fucking Trip is a fantastic artist. He is also currently burning a painting. It was a painting a day, but I think it went to a painting week and now maybe painting a month. I don't know.
I need to get back on that. I'm gonna drop the ball.
But basically, buy his goddamn art. Eventually, whenever I can get my own plans, I'm not saying what I want to do yet, mainly because I don't want somebody stealing my idea for my business.
He wants that painting from fucking The Wedding Crashers, where that guy's running, or Vince Vaughn's running through the woods naked with a little.
Basically, whenever I get the business that I want to start up, I'm actually going to be giving Trip an entire wall that he can do whatever the fuck he wants on. And I've already told him that once I have my business started up and I have the cash,
and then he's gonna pay for that, and then immediately get a promotion. Be like, I want to move.
But no, and the biggest thing is that because like I said at the beginning of this, I am one of those guys where I put my fucking money where my mouth is when I have the money to put said money where my fucking mouth is. Like, I'm one of those guys where, like, if I say I'm going to support a fucking veteran-owned business, I'm going to support a veteran-owned business. If I can go to a mom-and-pop shop that has the same product that they have at a big box store, but it's more expensive than mom-and-pop shop, I don't give a fuck. I go to the mom-and-pop shop. Like, at the mom-and-pop shop, if they do offer military discounts, I don't ask for one because I want to support a fucking small business, because that's
not because I've been out for fucking 8 years, my hair's long, fat. They're not gonna believe I'm man.
Well, no, even because here's like in Texas, they fucking state show on in Texas they fucking put veteran on your license. If it's a big box store and they offer a fucking military discount, I'm gonna get that because fuck the corporations. But if it's a mom and pop shop, I want them to get every fucking dollar that they can. But no, that's who I am. Like Trip can tell you, every chance I get, whenever I fucking remember to, mainly whenever I do posts on my Instagram, in my stories and everything like that, and I'm tagging him in it, the one thing that I say is buy his goddamn books and art. Granted, I have not had the money yet to buy the art that I want from him, mainly because I'm a broke motherfucker. But with the job that I'm doing currently, I do have the opportunity of making some good cash once I can get fucking companies to sign on and get people placed jobs. By the way, if you're looking for a job, hit me up. You can find me on Instagram. My handle is @Sephiroth337. Reach out to me on there. I'll schedule time to talk with you. I can help you get a job in your industry, or get you connected with somebody who can help you get a job within your industry. I work for a company. I'm not going to say the name on here, mainly because I don't want to get fired. But reach out to me on there. We'll set up a time to talk over my work phone. Hey, not right now, bud. Sorry, my 7-year-old tried walking in his underwear, and I don't want you to get hit for fucking child nudity.
Yeah, that would be. I would not want that. But on that, you can go tend to him, and I'll catch you later, man.
Let's fucking go.